Only 3 matches remain, and Sao Paulo, still at the top of the table, their biggest rivals, Reykjavik United, are their opponents here on Matchday 16. Hello, everyone. I'm Metafiction. I am joined as well, not always, but often by Max.
Hey everyone, I'm excited for this match day, and you can't think of any better matchup than Reykjavik versus Sao Paulo. It's going to be head to head between two giants. Buenos Aires, at least for this game, aren't too far off from Shanghai, but maybe Shanghai can start a little bit of a rally before the end of the season to have some better spirits going into the off season.
Indeed, the title race has more or less resolved down to just those two teams, but still plenty of pride to be played for lower down the table, as it evidenced between these two teams. As you said, Buenos Aires and Shanghai Dragons reckoning for, or rather, sorry, jockeying for position in the final reckoning. You can really tell it's been a little too long since I've done this.
Just some rust. I think I'm going to have some too.
Well, in any case, the first real chance, I believe that was Buenos Aires firing over the bar there. Shanghai now with a throw in. Bob through the middle. Up to Del Vecchio. Del Vecchio fires. It banks off the post and in for Tony Del Vecchio.
A fantastic run by Del Vecchio. You really can't say anything more besides that. You got a little bit lucky with the inside of the post, but it comes down to accuracy. It's also a tough angle. I think that's Kluch or something that was defending him. But nevertheless, very very well done by Del Vecchio. Give him all the props.
And so Vec has put Shanghai up 1-0 in the early going. But Buenos Aires nearly equalizing there with that header. I believe that was Genkal who headed it right into the hands of Takechi, and now they've got a chance from a corner.
I think we've seen Shanghai. Sorry, I think we've seen Shanghai go up in a couple of games, and they tend to lose a lead. But nevertheless, I think that Del Vecchio has been a standout player for the whole season.
Without a doubt, one of the members of this season 20 draft class. The class has been really showing out this season. A lot of instant contributors to their respective organizations. That long shot from Voda, who also was the number 1 pick in the season 20 draft. That shot going wide, though.
But with a prayer.
And Call sends it back. Buenos Aires trying to find the angle of attack on the right side. Duck all the way back to the keeper. Garrison losing out to I'm Just Ken. Through ball. Hohenhan loses out, though. And with the recovery, squares it. And Hohenhan makes it 2.
Where's the marking on that? I mean, really, a lot of props to Honeyham, but nevertheless, I just it doesn't seem like Ken was all the way right. What like a fantastic low cross from Ken, but nevertheless, all the defenders lose Honeyham, and he's just able to dink it in past Aubrey. Sorry, Beery.
Some excellent instincts from Hohenhan, and Shanghai up 2-0. We say it a lot, 2-0 the most dangerous lead in soccer, and Buenos Aires with the corner, but Shanghai have been very good so far.
From what Buenos Aires has produced so far, I think it's a tall task for them to be able to come back 2-0, but you mentioned it. It's not impossible.
Buenos Aires are pressing the attack here. Long ball forward. Duck squaring it, and that header from Sterling Scott catches, I believe that was Hola Diver, and it will be another corner. Buenos Aires are manufacturing chances, just not ones that have come to anything yet. I believe that was Voda.
Fantastic tackle.
Indeed, great work by, I believe that was Voda, sending that ball away. And that cross held
Great
by
all season.
Akechi. Buenos Aires trying again off that long ball. Again call. Now here's Duck. And Duck sends it over.
I think that Buenos Aires has kind of turned on towards the end of this first half. I mean, you see that average position with the ball, it's like, what, 5 people are right outside of the box? It's actually crazy. But they just haven't really been able to produce any clear-cut chances.
Buenos Aires seem to be, as you say, getting those players forward as that back pass travels a really long way. I don't think I've ever seen it run that far before, but as you say, Buenos Aires with a lot of players pressed up the pitch, but unable to really get shots on target as much. Meanwhile, that long ball is Shanghai, well, trying to hit the long ball. Didn't quite come off, though. Pass intercepted. Forward through to Voda. Voda. And that's tipped over.
Beery doing all the work there. I was voted with just finding himself in a great place, but unable to put the final touch on that.
Voda again from the edge of the box, and this time no assistance from Kabiri needed to send that over.
I think Voda is looking for that wonder goal. I'm here for it. I think that he's going to get one today.
Well, the shot has been called here. A wonder goal from Marcel Voda on the cards. Shanghai will be hoping. Meanwhile, at the other end, a long ball nearly finds Sterling Scott. It's a through ball, and it's O'Leary. If O'Leary's onside, this would go a long way to helping Buenos Aires back into this match.
That looked onside to me.
And indeed, it is onside. Let's look at the replay again. It had to have been tight. It's a great pass there.
You gonna get the lines?
We are indeed.
Ooh, Johnson.
It doesn't get much closer than that. But it is 1-2. Buenos Aires have gotten themselves a goal back right before the half.
Rick Johnson. I mean, I don't know whether it's unlucky or just poor defending. Can't get in line with the rest of his defense, but nevertheless, very fortunate for Buenos Aires there.
Also, credit to Snooks and O'Leary for timing that pass and run perfectly to catch Shanghai out.
And now we have a match. I went from 2-0 to 2-1. As you said, 2-0 is just probably one of the worst leads to have.
Well, right before halftime, less than a minute to go in added time, but we do have another Shanghai corner. It's rebuffed, but Voda will be the first to it. Bob tried to chip that over to Ford, who was lurking at the back post, but Kabiri able to snatch it out of the air, and that will do it for the first half. Shanghai with a 2-1 lead.
I mean, I'd say it's been pretty even. Is it deserved of a 2-1 score line for Shanghai between Buenos Aires? I'd say probably not. I mean, of course, give all the credit to Shanghai, who's done really good to get to this point, but nevertheless, Buenos Aires just have been pressing the whole game. As I said before, not too many clear-cut chances, but have it 2-1, have another 45 minutes to go. This could easily end 3-2 Buenos Aires.
Certainly a lot to look out for in this second half, which is now underway. It's Shanghai with the first set-piece opportunity. Billy Bob standing over the corner kick. It's back out
Voda.
to Voda. And Voda, once again, the long shot, this time tipped behind for another corner.
He's begging for one wonder goal. I'm here for it.
Voda's with the cross in, and it's headed away. And now Genkal trying to break, but Hutchinson able to get over and slow them up just enough. Shanghai winning possession.
Can't believe that Buenos Aires average possession with the ball map. That's ridiculous.
And call with the cross in, and it's headed off the bar by Sterling Scott.
Catchy just can't get out quick enough. And Sterling Scott, unlucky. Not to get his head under that, and I think he would have had it. Oh, but here's Genkel.
And the referee is given a penalty here, it looks like. Genkel going down in the box. Shanghai arguing that they got the ball. The penalty has been confirmed, and this could be a huge equalizer. Scott steps up to the spot and fires it past Takechi, and we are 2-2 here in Buenos Aires.
I don't know if it's just me, but that was a dubious penalty. Nonetheless, Sterling Scott, fantastic penalty. Takechi is a great goalkeeper when it comes to penalties, and just absolutely blasted in past Takechi, but you gotta question the refereeing there.
The corner headed back out for Buenos Aires. Munoz putting the cross in. And Harrison's header loops into the air for Takechi. Again, call. Now O'Leary again. Long pass from Fiacra. Bit of a header battle. Does settle with Duck. And the low cross, and that looked dangerous for Sterling Scott.
Buenos Aires really on the upper hand now. I think you've seen this many times from Shanghai this season where they get a lead or maybe they tie up the game and they just aren't able to see anything out. And Buenos Aires just has done fantastic to capitalize on a lot of their chances, but it was a very close one from Shanghai.
Buenos Aires, always a deceptively difficult opponent. And Ford with a long shot, clattered off of Hohenhan, it looked like. And they're going to rule Hohenhan offside for that. That does feel a little harsh, but the man's just been pegged in the back of the head with a soccer ball. Calling him offside feels like insult to injury.
Couldn't agree more.
Corner for Shanghai. Bob sends it in, and Kabiri with no trouble getting to that.
I think Shanghai's woken up a little bit now. You have 15 minutes left, and here they are again.
It's going to be a very compelling last 15 as Bob sends that one over, and it's another corner kick.
On vote one goal. That's why I don't gamble. I don't think it's going to play out, but nevertheless.
Well, Shanghai have had the better chances, and they've crossed it in front of the goal mouth, and it just keeps falling to Shanghai players, but they couldn't get it in, and now it's a goal kick.
I think Del Vecchio had probably one of the best chances of the second half, and he just couldn't put it away.
Well, will that come back to haunt them? Buenos Aires off of the corner kick, a long shot from Kulishad. It's clattered out to O'Leary. O'Leary loses out, though, and Shanghai now on the break. Here comes, I believe that's Ford. Sends it back to Johnson, but the move petering out. It looked like there was a real break on there for Shanghai, but they do have a corner kick.
Photo's right there. Have a shot, son.
Well, he did have a shot. Unfortunately for him, Kabiri was there to stop it.
It's like you're betting black every single time, but it just keeps on landing on red.
Well, he might have another chance here as Ford carries the ball forward. Shanghai trying to be smart in possession, pushing for a winner, but not being reckless. And that looked like it was going in, but Ford ruled offside. It won't count. And that is going to be it. The final whistle goes, and we are all square at 2-2 in Argentina.
I'm a little bit disappointed from Buenos Aires. Yes, they did fantastic to come back from 2-0 down. But nevertheless, I think that they had a real just amount of momentum coming out of the second half, and they weren't able to get the third goal. And frankly, I think that this is okay. Yeah, Shanghai did lose this game, or drop points this game. But I think Buenos Aires, you'd also make the case that they dropped points this game.
Certainly both sides came out swinging in respective halves. Shanghai dominating the first, Buenos Aires having ownership of the second. A draw, probably the fairest result, but nevertheless, you have to feel it was there to be won.
Unfortunate, but I'm so excited for this game now.
Yes, the second match on our docket today is one between two title rivals, Reykjavik United versus União Sao Paulo. Both of these teams were involved in the title chase last season and again this season. União Sao Paulo with the advantage as things stand, but we know that Reykjavik United comes to play when it really matters.
Be fantastic. I think Rubio's gonna have a good day out. El Pirlo, of course, just a fantastic player, and I think you're gonna see a lot from Neymar this game. He's just been fantastic all season. And I mean, it's going to be close. Do you want to give your prediction for the game?
I will not be baiting and giving a prediction for how this will turn out. I know better.
Well, I'll throw one out there. I'm saying the title race is going to get a little bit closer after tonight. 2-1 Reykjavik.
Well, the shot has been called once again, and we are underway here in Iceland as Reykjavik kick off what could be a potential title decider. It's Shaheen up the far wing to start out. Pass into Urkel, Velstrazen Smith dealing with it though. Del Pirlo made a real case for it, but Aguilera holding solid, able to hold on to it.
I haven't been too on the money tonight, but who knows? Every single gambler knows that you're just one spin from making $1 billion. Don't gamble though. I'm really against it. I'm just saying.
Well, are we going to see a prediction come true, or is this just an exercise in gambler's fallacy? Only time will tell, as that header tipped just wide.
Paulo looked fantastic
Oswald
early.
And that's a header right into the net from Ryan Kirkpatrick.
I think he's one of the more unsung players so far this season for Sao Paulo, and just a fantastic header right there. Cosworld with a great cross near post, and Kirkpatrick just able to head it on.
It looked like that header had both wall and, I believe, whoever, I wasn't able to tell who was on the line, but it had both of them fooled. It looped into that opposite corner. Just an expert placement on that header.
I mean, this
Now Reykjavik in a bit of a hole. Well, as soon as I say that, Del Pirlo might have just leveled it pending VAR.
that looked on to me.
And it is indeed onside per the referee, and we are all square once again. Mourinho passed it into Del Pirlo, and what a finish that was from such a tight angle.
I didn't say that he was going to get a goal today, but I did say that he was going to play well. Del Pirlo, just fantastic. He's a striker. Best way to put it. Off angle, but just a smashing shot past Aguilera.
We know the quality of Del Pirlo, and he's shown it there once again. And it's a good time forward as Reykjavik now draw level. Cotswold nipping that ball off of Neymarinho, but the cross just too high for Rubio. Now here comes Eilish. Well, Strazen-Smith lays it off to De Groot, who just fizzes it past the post.
You mentioned a cross too high for Rubio. Far and few between with how tall that guy is.
Maybe Skyrise once upon a time, but yeah, I think even he would have struggled to get that one. Tentacles with the corner kick now for Reykjavik. Headed near post, and it's deflected in, and Miko Rashford puts Reykjavik in the lead, 2-1.
We've just seen two masterclasses today in corner taking. Pentacles and Cotswold both being able to put their balls near post, and Rashford and Kirkpatrick able to have, again, two fantastic headers. I'd have to give the best header to Kirkpatrick, but nevertheless, take nothing away from Miko Rashford. Great positioning and a fantastic header.
Certainly great positioning for Rashford. I think for me, Aguilera has to do a little better with clearing that ball out rather than in, but nevertheless, Reykjavik with a 2-1 lead, and now Neymarinho alone and skies it over the bar with a golden opportunity.
I think the pressure got to him there. You got to take a couple more touches there, but what a miss.
Now they'll have another chance here as Urkel cuts it back. Del Pirlo this time heads it right at Aguilera. It cannot be understated, or overstated rather, just how important this match could be to the title race. If Sao Paulo win it here as De Groot takes the shot and it's deflected behind. If Sao Paulo win this one, the title race could be all but over today. Meanwhile, if Reykjavik win, all of a sudden those last two games look very, very interesting. Although Peixoto has just leveled it again.
I mean, what is the defense for Reykjavik doing there? Get that ball out. There goes my prediction. I mean, maybe I get the winner right, but nevertheless, it's just give all the credit to Peixoto. He never gave up on the chance, and just fantastic save from All Junior, coming off another fantastic save. But just you gotta rely on your finisher sometimes, and they didn't stand up.
Reykjavik with perhaps one more chance before the half as Urkel winning the corner. So once again, the momentum has swung. Will we see one more strike before the end of the half? Ball intercepted there. Gagne sending it up to Mulder. Well, that pass intercepted high up the pitch by Del Pirlo, but the shot right at the goalkeeper.
Looked like an outside of the foot shot. He was praying for something special today.
Well, it would have been special if it had come off, but in the end, we are at halftime, and the score is 2-2. Well, I can probably assume that this is more a game for the neutrals than the fans of the teams that are playing. I imagine this is going to be one of those that gives them heart attacks for quite some time just thinking about, but it certainly is a fascinating matchup.
If you're talking about heart attacks, you gotta remember that one game between Tokyo and Shanghai going to, what was it, 20 penalties deep. But I can't agree with you more. This is a tough game for both teams.
It's exactly what you'd want in a potential title decider. Both of these teams clearly leaving nothing for granted. They are certainly doing everything they can to try and secure this win, as Neymarinho intercepting that pass, running it up the other way, and Gaisberg, and it's batted away by Aguilera. Rubio out to Cotswold. Such a talented player, Cotswold. Winning a very deep throw-in.
I think Aguilera has been probably one of Sao Paulo's better players so far, besides the second goal, which he maybe could have done a little bit better. Nevertheless, give all the credit to the goalkeeper.
Without a doubt, both of these teams could not be where they are without solid goalkeeping play. Gagne. Hashimoto finding Mulder. Cotswold, edge of the box. Sent away by Gaisberg.
Sao Paulo coming running out of the cage the second half. I've been very impressed. I mean, they haven't had any crazy chances yet, but nevertheless, they look like the sharper side.
The question is, will that sharpness contribute to a winner? Still plenty of time for that for either side. Some quick passing finds Cotswold in some space. Cuts it back. And the Sao Paulo players can't quite get on the end of it. Still a chance, but it's ultimately sent away. And that could have been huge, but this will be huge. Brickwall Jr., the goalkeeper for Reykjavik, has been injured.
This is a disaster for Reykjavik. Oh no.
They say history turns on the smallest things. Is this one of those things for Sao Paulo and Reykjavik? Here's Urkel with a shot, and it's over the bar. Corner kick to Reykjavik.
What a time to get injured. I mean, you have to really feel bad for Walt Jr. He's been great all game, but nevertheless, you got to put all your faith in your defenders.
Well, work to the center of the pitch. It was sent back out. Now Chicken. Tentacles losing out to Cotswold. Gaisberg. Tentacles. Squares it. And the save from Aguilera, but into the path of George Shaheen.
What a finish. What a great play. It was a little bit, I think, bumbled within the box by the Sao Paulo defenders, but give all the credit to Reykjavik. They just saw probably one of the better players of their season in their goalkeeper come out, and they make no mistake to make it 3-2.
A phenomenal play by the defending champions. And they might have just blown this title race wide open. Shaheen losing out there to Aguilera. 20 minutes to play. Sao Paulo hoping to find at least an equalizer.
Equalizer saves their season.
Strazen-Smith with the free kick. And it's just over.
I can't agree more. I think Sao Paulo need an equalizer because that saves their season. Of course, it doesn't put anything away, but nevertheless, it makes it way harder for Reykjavik. But they're going to do all they can to keep it 3-2.
It's going to be a very intriguing last 10 to 15 minutes or so here. I can promise you that. Gaisberg. Out to Tentacles. Trying to get around Cotswold. Instead, into Neymarinho. Kirkpatrick deals with it, though. There's Maldonado, but the pass to Del Pirlo broken up. And now the counterattack on for Sao Paulo. Here's Strazen-Smith taking the dribble, and it's right at the super sub in goal.
I mean, the super sub didn't have to do too much, but I was getting nervous there.
Well, worked around in Mulder, and that's over the bar.
Reykjavik can just taste it at this point. They have to be trying to hold everything out.
There's Mulder, and this time firing just wide. Sao Paulo, I believe, would still be in the lead in the standings, but that gap would get perilously close going into the final two match days.
I think it's also a mentality thing. You lose against Reykjavik, and then you have a lot of pressure on the last two games.
Long ball headed down for Gaisberg. Tentacles forward to try to find Del Pirlo, but Nothing doing. Cotswold trying the long ball again. They've had some success. Feinbell, Strazen, Smith. Here's De Groot from long range, and that's over.
I think the super sub's thinking in his lucky stars right there. I was curving and doing a whole lot of things, and luckily the super sub didn't have to deal with that.
Reykjavik United just need to hold on a couple more minutes. Chicken, the tentacles. Gaisberg from range, and that's over.
Well done by Gaisberg. I think at this point it's just try to get as many shots off as possible.
Sao Paulo, one last gasp. And the ball goes over the end line. It would have been a goal kick, and that is it. Lake Valoran erupting in cheers as Reykjavik United victorious over their title rivals 3-2. And that could be huge.
Got the winner right. Didn't get the scoreline, but nevertheless, all the props to Reykjavik. I can't imagine how scared most of their fans must have been once Wall Jr. came off. It's just my heart sunk a little bit. Not because I'm rooting for any team, but you just gotta feel for the man. Nevertheless, just able to get an inch over Sao Paulo, and it was a fantastic game overall. Just tit for tat. Great stuff from both clubs.
Certainly a match worthy of a potential title decider. We'll have to see in a little bit how that affects the standings after today, but certainly probably one of the matches of the season on balance, just with what it means to these two teams.
Oh, 110%. I think I might get this wrong. I think it's a 4 point gap now, which is way better than I think it would have been a 7 point or maybe even 9 point gap had Sao Paulo tied or won it. But nevertheless, everything to play for these last two match days, and nothing's decided yet. And I think from a commentator's perspective, I'm all here for it.
Well, it's worth noting if it was more than 6 points, that then Sao Paulo could have potentially wrapped up the title there with a win, but that did not happen. We'll have to look at the standings to be sure, but in the meantime, we do have Romana and Tenochtitlan on deck here. Just take a look
Three.
at the stats. It is a 3-point gap.
It's even less than I thought. Oh no! It's all to play for.
By the math, I believe that means that Sao Paulo would have had the title sealed up with a draw, but they couldn't get it.
It would have been 4 points. So I think that it would have just been a little bit harder for Reykjavik to have come back, but because Sao Paulo would have had to lose their last two match days, but nevertheless.
Yes, you're right. Apologies. I cannot do math.
It's hard for all of us.
They don't pay me enough to do math. I'm sorry.
The historians and the people in the producer's box.
In any case, there is a match that we should be commentating on as Romana in the purple and gold trying to get the ball into the box, but instead it's Shinji Kaido for Tenochtitlan. Just on the cusp of 100 goals is Kaido. Might get it today.
99. Or no. Oh, I think, yep, 99 goals.
That shot, meanwhile, by Santori right off the post. Romana's still with it, but a very good chance goes begging. It is a corner kick.
I don't think that we did the best introduction for this game, but nevertheless, just these two teams, I think AC Romana have played a lot better than they did last season. And when I say I think, I know for a fact they came in last, and they've done well for themselves. I think it's going to be a good mid-table finish for them. They can be happy, see that they've made a little bit of progress in the rebuild. And Tenochtitlan, for their first season as an expansions team, I mean, you see what's going on with Shanghai. They can hold their heads high.
Without a doubt, both organizations have a lot to be proud of from this season. Romana especially, having finished dead last season. And as you say, Tenochtitlan with a more than respectable maiden campaign here in the SSL. Coin flip taking this touch here. And now Hoppity. Muller, pressured by this Tenochtitlan defense. It's slow going for Romana up this right side. They finally find a way through, but the pass intercepted. Now Bailey Deali. Volta into the box. Tries the shot, but it's deflected back.
Tried doing all the work there. Unfortunately, it just didn't come off for him. And also, quick shout out, Ali, 93 goals. Unless we see a 7 trick today, it's still going to be a little bit of time, but who knows? 3 goals today, 4 goals next match day, or maybe 2 goals today, 2 goals next match day, maybe a hat trick on their final day. Finally get that 7 goals to make it to 100.
It is certainly not out of the question, but that shot in the meantime by Romana clattered over and it's a corner kick. Ojo sending it out, Pedrillo sending it right back. And dealt with.
I really liked Hoppity and Poggio this season for Romana. I think that they've been great and give all the credit to Minjong. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they came up from the academy, so this is their first season, unless I'm misremembering things.
I believe you are correct. Certainly another example of season 20 draftees making instant impact in the SSL majors. Usually we see these draftees starting out in the minors and taking a few seasons, but in these cases, a few of them have made their way up and certainly for the most part proving they belong.
I think that you still have some organizations that believe in that, but I think season 12 and 20 was a real turning point for the league, showing that a lot of these academy prospects really do have just a whole lot of grit in them and are able to really carry themselves in the majors, as you've said.
Absolutely. In the meantime, this match kicking off in the second half, 0-0 the score at halftime. Neither side really able to create any threatening chances thus far.
I think it's been all Roma. It's been a quiet game. Let's put that out first. But nevertheless, I think Romana's still been on the front foot of this quiet game.
Certainly have had most of the action in the Tenochtitlan defensive third, and there was another shot there, ultimately saved. Poggio puts in the corner kick, and that's headed just wide. Quick passing from Tenochtitlan to work the ball up the pitch. Losing out, though, is Sam Volta. Now Romana coming up the other way. Here's Santori. Nunez gets around Volta and tries to send it far post, but gets it way off.
The team very clinical today, but nevertheless, we're seeing some really good runs. I think that no, I think it was Kato earlier, and Santori's been making his way around the box, but nevertheless, no one well that clinical today. And ref.
And that's a sliding challenge from, I believe that was Pinkman. And that could very well result in a penalty here. They are looking at it.
And he's already
and
on
the
a
penalty
yellow.
has been given. Poggio steps up and tucks it away.
Great penalty. Makes no mistake. And in a slow game, the nerves might still be there a little bit. But I think Pinkman's a little bit lucky not to get a red there. But nevertheless, clear as day penalty. And Poggio makes no mistake.
As you say, Pinkman already on a yellow card. It's surprising that Pinkman wasn't booked for a second time there, as you said, but nevertheless, Romana, I assume, will be happy with the goal. As time winds down, only 15 to play, Romana still leading 1-0.
I mean, in in terms of matches and how slow they've been, I think the first two have given us a lot of goals and a lot of good moments. This one's been I think it's a good break for the commentators, but nonetheless, I don't think either team is really playing for all that much. And Romana have gotten their goal, and I think are going to be happy to see this out.
Indeed, as you say, we are just about at the end. Only a few minutes of added time to be played as this corner kick from Romana goes in. It's headed down, and Hippity Hoppity has put this one to bed.
I give her props earlier, but again, I've loved seeing Hoppity all season, and this is, I think, probably a cherry on the cake. Really, just capping off a great season. Of course, we have two matches left, but nevertheless, give all the props to Min Jong that was able to keep the ball in the box and a fantastic finish.
Romana will wrap up a fairly professional win over Tenochtitlan here today. 2-0 will likely be your score just as soon as we get the final whistle. And there it is. Romana with a 2-0 win over Tenochtitlan.
No, she's lying. Just no, none of their attackers turned up today. No one even wanted to really have a shot from far outside of the box. They've had one, I think, really early in the game, and since then haven't produced anything. Give props to Romana. I'm telling you, just a great turnaround season from them, and if they just keep on building from the progress that they've made this season, you might even see them next season. But maybe I think for sure the season after, you're going to see them competing for the title, and just a great rebuild from them. Tenochtitlan again, take nothing away from them. In their first season, they really can get to hold their heads high, but just I think a poor performance from them today.
Without a doubt, both teams with a lot to be proud of this season. Romana the only ones to be proud of this day, however. And now we move on to our fourth match of the day, where Hollywood FC takes on CF Catalunya.
Hollywood still competing for that third place. I think that they're just outside of the title race with SFV. SFV, I think, might still have an inkling of a chance saying that they win today's game. But nevertheless, Hollywood just outside of it. But third place is a respectable finish. And I'm not too sure how I don't think that they finished too high on the table last season. So, again, another team that has been making progress.
Meanwhile, Catalonia have been on a bit of a skid, as you could see there. At least 5 losses in a row. Certainly not the season they were hoping for. They were fighting for the bottom with Romana last season, and this season they just haven't really been able to get anything going.
Credit to, I mean, not, let me rephrase. I wouldn't really give much credit to Catalunya. I think that they've had a really poor season, starting off kind of, I mean, I think they picked up maybe 3 points from the first three games or something like that, if I remember, which isn't a terrible start, but nevertheless, I've been giving a lot of praise to teams that have been building on their season from last season, and I can't give the same praise to Catalunya, but with this new draft comes a new opportunity to start building again.
In the meantime, Hollywood has gone up 1-0 through Squidward Tortellini, finishing from just inside the box.
Fantastic goal from Tortellini. I'm so sorry that I was yapping over that, but nevertheless, I think he does basically the whole play by himself, and it's unfortunate from Detrella. Just just a terrible rebound, and Twinkle Toes can't do much about that.
Well, Hollywood certainly not complaining about that deflection. It is 1-0 to the Lights. And unfortunately for Catalunya, certainly not the start they were hoping for today. They're going to bring the ball forward here, though, but ball intercepted there.
I think you can argue that there's some juxtaposition between a Hollywood team and a team from Catalonia. Just kind of a new frontiers for both nations, but I think both have a long history. But what a goal by Midema, sorry.
Indeed, it's a great counter-attacking goal from CF Catalunya, courtesy of Miedema, and we are now level.
I think I really butchered Miedema's name right there, but nevertheless, just a fantastic run by him and able to put it past Dia and Walverson.
Miedema taking that touch around former Catalunya Soul player Hercule Hefeweisen, and it is all square here in Hollywood. And they've won the ball high up the pitch again, and it's a corner kick to Catalunya.
I wonder if Fry's still
It's back out.
is still battling his sickness. I know that he's been written about extensively, having to go through a lot of payments to get through his last game against Shanghai. But nevertheless, I kind of feel bad for him. But I hope that he's feeling better.
Certainly wishing Fry a speedy recovery. In the meantime, his teammates are level, but Hollywood coming forward, and from close range, it's Pete Martell who puts Hollywood back ahead.
Catalonia have been having defensive problems all season, and just great positioning from Martel, able to put in a great goal. But nevertheless, give Portolini all the props. He's been great so far this game, and a fantastic cross that's able to just find Martel.
Without a doubt, a strong showing, and Hollywood once again with a slim lead here in this first half. Potential to add to it here from Brooks, but Twinkletoes able to hold on to it.
So, quick fun fact: Close is also on 99 goals, just one goal away from that 100 goal mark, and 100 goals is something to be real proud about.
Without a doubt, several players at or near that milestone this season. It'll be very interesting to see how many of them can reach it.
I think Hollywood's been deservedly in the lead this game. Catalonia have had, one or two good chances, and they haven't been terrible so far. A lot better than they've been in other parts of the season, but nevertheless, Hollywood with a deserved lead.
As we near halftime, it remains 2-1. Twinkletoes holds the ball as we enter added time. Long ball up the pitch. Nelson. Martel sending it back. Closa. And now Ali Dia. Mograine. 1-2 with Martel, and Twinkletoes able to push it away. Hollywood still on the attack. Brooks. And it's into Fry, who's able to block it behind. Dia. But the ball sent away. And it's Fry again. As we enter halftime, Hollywood with a 2-1 lead. Certainly had the better chances, but Catalunya not to be counted out of this one just yet.
One's a very friendly scoreline, I think, for Catalonia, and being able to nick maybe a point off of Hollywood this season would do wonders for their confidence. And honestly, you're never too far away from being able to make a real, I mean, not have a real comeback, but be able to put yourself in a good place before the off season. Because mentality is really important, I think, in this league, just how the users are feeling and stuff like that. But nevertheless, I think Hollywood, again, showing what they've really been able to do for a lot of this season.
Absolutely. And Varnson and Wagner will make their way onto the pitch. Fry and Miedema will make their way off of it.
Wondering if Fry's sick again.
Well, certainly would explain why Fry is being subbed off at halftime, despite being one of the better defensive players. But in any case, hopefully nothing serious.
Some illnesses you just can't seem to beat, but off season's near. You got quite a lot of time to recover.
Indeed, as we say, we'll be hoping for Fry to recover. In the meantime, Hollywood with another dangerous chance, but Tortellini losing out. Pass though wayward, and Dia had the shot. It deflected into the path of Tortellini, but Twinkletoes able to catch it. Varnson. And Varnson offside.
You can see the average position without the ball for Hollywood just being really far up versus Catalunya that is maybe a little bit more mixed in. It's looking a lot like a fourth, some crazy. Wait, I don't even know what that looked like. It looked like there was 12 players on the pitch, but maybe my eyes are just doing tricks on me.
In fairness, I think I saw what. I think I know what you mean. I think I saw that too. That's a little odd. Well, in the meantime, here's Brooks, who finishes from close range.
Brooks, I think he's been great all game and just a great little finish, being able to tap it past the goalkeeper. And Twinkle Toes, I don't know if he's unfortunate or what the case may be, but just beaten, I think, quite fairly. Yeah, it was more like a nice little tap through, and Twinkle Toes just beaten at his near post, and it's really unfortunate for him.
It takes another deflection off of Detrella. Another unfortunate bounce for the Catalunya defender. But Hollywood might have just pulled away for good with that one. 3-1 the score now.
Hollywood, give them so many props. I mean, even I think yes, they're not running for the title, but nevertheless, they've been a good side this season and someone that can beat the best of teams.
Tortellini's shot clatters off the post. Catalunya coming forward now, but as you say, Hollywood have been in that rebuilding phase for quite some time, and now it is starting to seem to bear fruit. We'll have to see how long they can sustain it and whether they can translate it into another league title, but for the moment, certainly promising signs from Southern California.
No, it is the land of the superstars, right? So maybe the industry's just popping out there for soccer slash football, and I think that they've done some really good work so far.
Dia into Lightning, but the ball blocked back to Dia. Dia cuts inside. Tortellini squares it for Gerd Closa.
100 goals for Garrett Closa. Fantastic for him. And I think just the goals don't have to be pretty. He didn't score an absolute worldie for his 100, but 100 is still 100 and take nothing away from him. It's just you got to be at the right place at the right time, and he was there.
Well, if hitting the century mark doesn't earn Gerd Closa a star on the Walk of Fame, then I don't know what will.
I'll go dig it up right now.
In the meantime, Hollywood up 4-1 with this game well in hand. Gerd Closa hitting that 100-goal mark. Certainly a complete day, but they certainly aren't done, as Gerd Closa immediately getting 101. assuming it stands, VAR is looking at it.
That looked like it was good to me. I think you gotta. Yep, it's 101. Fantastic. I mean, she's a fantastic striker, and once again, just Tortellini for both goals, setting him up. And this time, you get to do a little bit more work. Winkletoes maybe not down quick enough, but nevertheless, just a fantastic goal.
And Hollywood with a dominant display. Gerd Klose with a brace so far. Still time potentially for a hat trick even.
You've seen this from Catalunya a couple times this season. Just they start well, but maybe it's a lack of depth or maybe just an overall mentality issue. But nevertheless, they just can't seem to hold out some of these leads. But again, or sorry, some of these draws and leads. But nevertheless, take nothing away from Hollywood. They were fantastic this game.
Indeed, a strong performance for Hollywood. And as we enter added time, it's looking like a very comfortable win. It would take a highly improbable comeback at this point for Catalunya. I won't say it's impossible, but
I mean,
here comes Hollywood again.
if it's not impossible, I don't know what is not impossible, but I guess you're right. At this point, I think it is impossible.
Well, the whistle's just gone, so it is impossible now, but a 5-1 win to Hollywood, your final score here. Hollywood well in control of this one.
I think that Catalunya, of course, not the best performance. Still being able to nick a goal against Hollywood, I think is still impressive, especially considering that the season that they've had. But I have a lot of faith in the GM and or I guess the organizational manager and what they're going to be able to do with the club. Of course, this season's basically over for them, and for Hollywood, it is kind of too. But Hollywood's still trying to get that third place, and they've really shown why they probably deserve that third place.
Certainly a strong performance, and meanwhile for Catalunya, they'll have to go back to the drawing board again this offseason, try and figure out the right path forward. Meanwhile, Hollywood seem to be on an upward trajectory. It'll be interesting to see how they fare in the coming seasons, if they can continue this pace.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't they in the oh no, please do not, never mind. I was about to say something so wrong. But nevertheless, let's move on. SFV versus Tokyo. Again, another team that's fighting for third. And Tokyo, I think, are pretty content with a mid-table finish. But again, a very deceptive team. They've been able to get some pretty big wins this season.
Certainly, without a doubt. Unfortunately for Tokyo, the inconsistency that has plagued them for many seasons once again rearing its head, and what was a potential title challenge very early in the season has melted away a bit. They're still looking to finish strong, but they've hit a real skid over these last few games, as you can see there.
Very strange formation from SFV, but nevertheless, maybe it pans out for them.
We certainly have a bevy of talent in that Black Forest side, but it's Tokyo who kick off, going left to right in the pink.
Seems like the lights are pretty strong today.
Delo. And Delo going down and getting a free kick in a dangerous position early on for Tokyo. Sent in by Ibrahimovic, and it's headed near post, but Saran equal to it.
I think SFV.
Not sure if that's.
Sorry.
I'm not sure if that light is. I'm not sure if that's glare off the camera or what, but it certainly is off-putting.
Maybe SFV mind tactics or something like that, trying to really turn out the lights to make it just a little bit harder for Tokyo. I mean, Tokyo is a very bright city, so maybe it's not that worth it.
In the meantime, it's a through ball, and Wang Jihao, in less than 90 seconds, putting SFV in the lead. VAR looking at it, but I didn't see any problems with it, and it is indeed awarded.
Wang Jihao already having gotten 100 goals this season. Fantastic player all season long. One of SFV's best, and a fantastic finish past Revest.
Here is the replay showing that Wang Jihao played just onside by Ekholm Gunnarsson there. So it's an early left hook from Schwarzwälder that sends Tokyo reeling. Can they recover? Schenginger sends it forward, but Lee able to intercept that pass, and now Tokyo coming back. Ibrahimovic and Zlatan Ibrahimovic with the instant response.
Ibrahimovic is a striker that I dream of having on any single team. He's fantastic, and it's just it's great to see him scoring another great smashing goal, and it's just the goal that really exemplifies the player that he is, just with so much power.
He's been an absolute godsend for Tokyo, and once again proving his worth, equalizing here in the early stages. Veridian inside to Hakkinen, and it is a corner kick. And that one's headed over.
Come halftime, I'm gonna have to do my ode to Ronflex like I promised.
In the meantime, here is Greer cutting into the box a little bit out of position from where he usually is, but it ultimately comes to nothing.
I think Tokyo have really started off strong. Yes, they've gone down within the first 90 seconds, but nevertheless, I don't think it's phased them all too much.
Both these teams have put on some classics in the past. We'll have to see whether we're due for another one here as Schmidt sends that corner in, ultimately headed away, but Jihao does get to it. Whittington. Back to Bierman. Through ball, and it's Mei Suzuki who puts Schwarzwälder back in the lead pending VAR.
I think VAR is just trying to check every single goal. That looked clear as day to me, and it's been confirmed. Suzuki, a fantastic player for SFV all season, and just a great goal.
A great strike, well placed. And once again, Schwarzwälder find themselves in the lead.
Like,
and you see there Suzuki just onside.
looked to me like it was Moses, putting down the staff and the Red Sea splitting open, just the defenders giving so much space to Suzuki, but take nothing away from them. A fantastic goal.
SFV continue to have possession, and it's over the top for Jihao. Revest coming out. Did get the ball away, but Schmidt. And that was very nearly a third.
What a miss. I mean, Schmidt, the whole goal is open. Just put it anywhere but there, but it hit the post. I think it did take a deflection, but nevertheless, take another touch, able to smack it into the back of the net. Unfortunate for SFV not able to get a third.
Tokyo, under all sorts of pressure at this point, had started brightly, but have had to weather a lot of SFV attacks. Do have a chance at the other end now, though. Here, sending it back. Getting it back again. Forced to the corner, and the ball's one away. And here come SFV. Suzuki. Jihao now making the run. In a lot of space, into the box. And Jihao with a great run to make it 3.
Fantastic goal. I'm just looking at Ron Flex chasing after Suzuki there. I don't think that all his steps really made that much of an impact on the pitch. Unfortunately, to put off Zihao. Fantastic strike and a fantastic goal.
And now Schwarzwälder with a commanding early lead here in the first half, 3-1.
I think I've said this probably a couple times, but these five back formations really live and die by their wingbacks. And I think Tokyo today, Super Hoops agree when they're on their day, they're on their day, and Tokyo's unstoppable. But today, I think that they're a little bit off.
Wrong flicks there to Greer, and now they've worked it up that left wing. Trying again, now switching to the middle. Ibrahimovic can't quite get it under control. Trying again, it's out to Greer. Yun with a very optimistic shot that goes into the stands. Jihao on a hat trick. The sliding challenge from Lee, but does only last a moment. And that one goes over the bar, courtesy of Dombrowski Maximiliano. And so at the half, Schwarzwälder with a strong advantage, 3-1 over Tokyo SC.
I think so deserved from SFV. They haven't really been that far away from Tokyo this game. I think Tokyo still has had their chances, but nevertheless, take nothing away from SFV. They've been great this game and just showing a lot of the bright spots that they've had this season. Unfortunately, they're just not in the same level of competitiveness that Rake and Sao Paulo were this season, but it's just I think that they're almost there. They're almost there, and I don't see any reason why next season isn't going to be a lot better for them.
Well, it is SFV building from the back here, passing amongst their defensive contingent. Now hitting it up to Jihao, but that pass intercepted well by Anthony Lee. Although one away, and now here comes Suzuki taking the shot, and it's bottom corner for Mei Suzuki. And this one has gotten turned into a bit of a blowout.
I don't know whether it's deservedly 4-1, but nevertheless, I think just a unfortunate mistake by Lee and Suzuki. Just so good this season and able to put in a great finish past Revest, who maybe hasn't had their best day, but nevertheless, take nothing away from SFV. They've been on point with their pressing.
Certainly on song today, Black Forest. They lead 4-1 over a team that has given them quite a bit of trouble in the past. Now passing it amongst themselves, ultimately sending it back to Saran Satsral. Whittington. Now Schmidt heading it forward to Jihao, who taps it forward. And that one goes wide. You'll note there on the XG chart, it has been all SFV since partway through the first half.
I mean, Tokyo really haven't produced much, and I agree. I don't think that the SFV chances have been super clear cut, which give all the credit to the strikers. They've been able to do a lot with very little, in my opinion. But it's just Tokyo. They haven't really been able to get anything going. And as I said, I think Tokyo specifically, I said five backs before, Tokyo really lives and dies by their fullbacks. Wingbacks.
Well, speaking of wingbacks, there is Greer putting the cross in. looking for his favorite target, Ibrahimovic, but can't quite get there. Greer cutting inside, and that one blocked and sent away.
With the wingbacks combining.
Pass intercepted by Schmidt, and Schmidt taking advantage of the Tokyo mistake, and it is 5-1 Schwarzwälder.
Schmidt just as you said, taking advantage of a Tokyo that's just been really slow today. I think this is the second mistake playing out of the bag for Tokyo that results in an SFE goal. It's just been unfortunate for Tokyo, but give all, and I mean all the credit and all the props to SFE, who have pressed really well today, have been able to get high up the pitch, and been able to capitalize on a lot of the mistakes that Tokyo has had.
Well, it is not the scoreline you would have expected between these two teams, but Schwarzwälder have really come to play today. And coming forward again. Ball defended, pass blocked by Chambers. But that pass back to Schmidt, and it's scrambled for Zhehao, who just fires wide. And it is a corner kick, but that should have been a goal.
Again, SFV have just been so good today. Tokyo really haven't produced much, but it's been just all attacking from SFV this second half and the last part of the first half included.
And they continue to pressure from this corner kick. Dan back to Schenkinger. Bierman trying to get up that far wing. Schmidt to Deanne, who shoots from range, and that just skims the top of the net.
I think Tokyo has really been. I think this game doesn't really reflect the season that they've had, but I think that they've had their really good games and have been able to nick a point, some points off of really good teams this season. But SFV, I think that this is the best that they've been this season, and I'm saying that the way that they've been playing when they're their best, this is how they play, and they just haven't been able to do this all season long, which is what really determines whether or not you're able to challenge for a title. And I think it's just a disappointing season from SFV. Maybe the tactics sometimes weren't all the best, or sometimes it was just bad luck. But nevertheless, I think both teams have a lot to be proud of this season.
And in the meantime, Zhihao capping off a surgical counterattack there from SFV. VAR looking at it and will award it. It is now 6-1 in favor of SFV, and Zhihao capping off the hat trick.
VAR has made an appearance for all but 2 goals for SFV. I think VAR wants a little bit of the spotlight since really all of it's just been on SFV, both metaphorically and literally.
They're certainly getting their money's worth out of VAR today. SFV not complaining, I would imagine. It's a very lopsided scoreline.
The SSL has to put all the money that they put it into VAR to use, finally.
Tokyo trying to come forward now. Here's Greer trying to hit it up the line, but nobody's home. And now here's Hakkinen. Schenkinger back to Hakkinen. That ball falls to Rivest. Trying the long pass forward. Yun. Delo trying to find Ibrahimovic and does, but Ibrahimovic looked very offside there.
I think they're retreating knowing that they are offsides, and there it is.
Well, it wasn't a bad sequence of moves, but, well, there you see the proof's in the pudding. Ibrahimovic practically on the outside of the stadium so far offside. Greer now with a corner kick. One of very few Tokyo have had all day. Ron Flex shoots it just wide.
I would have gone crazy had Ron Flex put that away, but nevertheless, I think Tokyo maybe their third real chance of the game.
It's been a bad day at the office for sure. And SFV coming forward again. And Hakkinen. Lucky 7 for number 7. Hakkinen making it 7-1 for Black Forest over Tokyo.
Every football fan remembers the 7-1 scoreline from Brazil versus Germany, and guess who it is? The German team making it 7-1 against the Japanese team. Just, it's been terrible from Tokyo all game, but nevertheless, SFE have just been there every single chance that they can get. They put it away. I think it's just been both of the strikers' day. Attacking mids, just everyone has been able to put in a great performance.
Certainly a strong showing from SFV. Tokyo just not at the races. After that goal from Ibrahimovic, there's been radio silence from them. Perhaps something here as Greer comes forward, cuts it back, and Lee fires wide.
Trying to make it 7-2 to be maybe a little bit more respectable, but it's just been a bad day at the office overall for Tokyo.
It's one of those results that you have to ask, what happens now? Where do you go from a result like this? The Super Hoops fires that wide. It is a corner kick. Or excuse me, perhaps not. It looked like a corner kick, but I suppose it wasn't. Yun takes a shot and once again tipped over. As we enter added time, Greer standing over the corner kick. Sends it near post. It's into the air. Ron Flex finding Lee. And Lee gets a consolation at the very least. Certainly too late to turn this result around, but we'll certainly be proud of that one.
Great from Lee. I mean, a really good goal from Lee. Being able to play past Muno, or sorry, shoot it past Muno, but it's really a consolation goal at this point. But at least the scoreline's not 7-1. 7-1's a mark that you can't really get off, but 7-2 might be a little bit less hurtful, I guess, in the grand scheme of things.
Well, perhaps so, but this defeat will probably sting for some time to come. Meanwhile, jubilation, and rightly so, for Schwarzwälder at a very good result. Wang Jihao with a hat trick, a brace as well from Suzuki. Schmidt and Hakkinen also doing damage. 7-2 the final here in the Black Forest.
I think it maybe could have been 8 or 9-2. I think that 7-2 is still maybe too kind of a scoreline for Tokyo, but nevertheless, give all the props to Ibrahimovic and Lee, the two real standout players for Tokyo today. And that brings us to the end of the match day.
And what a match day it was. We saw some very exciting matches, some close, some not so close. And certainly a very interesting title picture going into the final couple of match days.
You feel confident enough to pick who's gonna come out on top after match day 18?
Absolutely not.
I don't know.
As a rule, I do not make predictions because I always get them wrong.
You know, I was just half right today, and I was very wrong for getting voted a wonder goal. But I'm also gonna stray away from making prediction. But I think Reykjavik's looking really good coming into the last two match days.
They've certainly got a lot of momentum after their victory over Sao Paulo today. Still, Sao Paulo in the lead, as you can see there from the standings over to your left. 3-point lead for Sao Paulo,
It's gonna be so.
but it is all to play for.
It's gonna be so close. I do want to end off because I did promise Ron Flex this. Going into today's match, I did tell him next time I'd commentate, I'd give him a little ode to Ron Flex since he did get a goal last time he was out. A fantastic player that I've really favored this season. So just a quick 2 sentence ode to Ron Flex. Oh mighty Ron Flex, mountain mid the pitch, thy girth a bulwark, none may dare besiege. In midfield's heart, where chaos seeks its niche, thou standst unmoved, a calm and sleeping siege.
That was that was heartfelt and beautiful, and I'm sure very much appreciated. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I gotta do my due diligence, but once again, just talking about the actual match day, I think we've seen Romana and SFV really show out, and it's good to have this kind of confidence going into the off season and also into these last two match days because SFV still find themselves in third. I think that they're, way too far away from challenging for the title. I mean, I think now at this point, an 8 point gap, so 6 points, just way too far for them. But nevertheless, I think that a lot of these teams have a lot to be proud of going into the offseason, and some others have to go back to the drawing board.
Well, there's still plenty to play for in these final two match days. We cannot wait to have you with us for those. Until next time, this has been Metafiction and Max. Take care.
See ya.